What's up, my seventh grade honors students? You saw the vocabulary posted for chapter 15 yesterday. You will be getting a vocab quiz on that probably next week sometime. Take a day to do a vocab quiz. I'll let you know, of course, ahead of time. However, we are going to start chapter 15 today. So, congratulations, you've made it to the last chapter of seventh grade. And believe it or not, for those of you who have me in class next year for eighth grade honors, it'll be one of the first things we do. I always do a chapter 15 review. I take like a week or so to review the Civil War, obviously to refresh your memories and to take any questions that you have, and then we get right into chapter 16. So I just want to go over a couple of things here. All right, you're going to see this worksheet posted. This is not homework. Okay, this is absolutely positively not homework. You want to fill in the answers, you can. I'll give you the answers, but this will be your homework. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, checkpoint questions in 1 and 2, 5 checkpoints in 1 and 2. That'll be your homework. Submit it, set due dates. I'll give you section 1 today and section 2 on Thursday, and I'll probably give you a day or so just to catch everything up, and then get into June. All right, so I'm just going to go over the notes really quick, the answers. If you have any questions, obviously you can text or email me. All right, but with President Lincoln winning the election, the South will secede. Okay, and President Lincoln has an incredibly hard job here. He has to try to somehow win the Civil War. Okay, the 11 states have left. They've elected their own president. They have their own government. You know this. We started this at the end of chapter 14, section 4. All right, and there's going to be a couple of states that are incredibly important to President Lincoln, and they're known as the border states. Okay, Missouri, Kentucky, West Virginia, Maryland, Delaware. All right, go really Kentucky, West Virginia, Maryland, Delaware. These ones right here. Okay, these are known as the border states. These states stay loyal to Lincoln and the United States. They do have slavery in them. Okay, they're not exactly 100% abolitionists. All right, but Lincoln will do what he can to keep these states here, these four, in the United States. Because if those four go, now it's 15-7, and that's devastating to the United States. Okay, number 5 and 6 are incredibly important. All right. I'm going to ask you on your test. I'm going to ask you on your exam. I'll probably ask you on the final when you see it. All right. You need to know the advantages and disadvantages of both sides. All right. Number 5 is the South. Their advantages. Number 1, fighting took place on their home soil. Okay. They had home field advantage. 95% of the fighting took place in the South. They had better military leaders. Their generals were much, much better. Okay. We're going to get into that more. All right, and they had incredibly strong support from their people. Northern advantages: we had more factories, we had more people, and we had more railroads. All right, if you look at the advantages and disadvantages, you're going to say that the North should have won this war in a couple of months. It took 4 years. Okay, factories, railroads, people. Yeah, we had more. The North had more. We could make more weapons, make more cannons, make more ships, transport them faster, replace soldiers on the battlefield. But the North almost lost. Okay. And we'll dive into that more when we get into it. Here is President Lincoln, right here, 1860. Okay, look at this picture compared to the pictures I'll show you when he's done with president, 1865, when he's done with the Civil War. Here's his inauguration. Here's the Capitol building. All right, up here you have the Capitol building finishing being built, but Lincoln is under the podium giving his speech. Okay, let me go back to that one. All right, these are your border states. All right, Maryland, Delaware, West Virginia, Kentucky, Missouri. These are incredibly important to the United States. All right, all of this: Virginia, North, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas had all left. You lose these 5 states, and the North is literally held to a disadvantage. So Lincoln is going to make sure. Okay, now notice West Virginia here. All right, this was never a state until the Civil War, but this area used to belong to Virginia, and they didn't agree with secession, so they decided to break away from Virginia and stay loyal to the United States. Okay? Strength to the South, you can read it. They had better leaders, they had better tactics, they had better morale. Okay? Northern advantages, a lot more people. I believe there were 20 million or so living in the North. Okay, compared to about the 10 million in the South, and of the 10 million, 4 million of them were slaves that couldn't fight. So really, it was like 20 million to 6. All right, they had more industry, they had more resources, we had better banking, we had more railroads, we had Lincoln, we had more ships, we had a navy, we had the money, and yet we almost lost. Okay, we weren't familiar with the territory, and we absolutely not everybody was on board with the Civil War in the North. Okay, again, another advantage, disadvantage. Okay, know these in your notes. These are going to be important. Okay, these will be important. I'm going to let you read them, especially on the presentation. Good map here. Okay, very good map here. Okay, North, South, and those border states. Okay, right in the middle. California out here is a free state. Okay, the Southern strategy is very simple: defend their home territories until the North basically just gave up. Okay, until they basically were just like, no, we're done doing this. All right, they were also desperately hoping for help from England. We're going to talk a lot about that later on. England bought most of its cotton from the South. So the South figured if you can get England on board, there's a navy, there's supplies, there's weapons, there's food, there's ammunition, there's the things that they need to win the war. And we'll talk more about that later. All right, Civil War is family versus family, brother versus brother, father versus son. If you were between the ages of 18 and 45, even 45, even 15, you could be expected to pick up a rifle. Okay. And one of the first battles takes place, and people actually came out to watch it. All right. They thought the North would win. They thought it would take quick. It would take place quick. They thought it would actually be like something entertaining to watch. But the general of the South, Stonewall Jackson, all right, under command of Robert E. Lee, who's in command of the South, absolutely butchers the North. And the people watching are horrified. And people start to realize that this this civil war that people thought would be over in a couple of months, not going to be over in a couple of months. It's going to take a couple of years. Okay. North in the blue uniform, South in the gray. All right, the first battle of Bull Run. This is the first major battle of the Civil War. All right, paintings that were done. And this was after. One of the interesting things, and you're going to see a lot of these pictures, is photography did exist for the Civil War. All right, it did exist. Matthew Brady, being one of the most famous photographers of the time, all right, would take pictures of the battlefields after the battlefields. Okay. These were people, guys, I'm not lying to you. They actually showed up dressed in their Sunday best to come out and watch the battle, thinking it would be something entertaining. And it obviously wasn't. It wasn't at all. All right. And they were horrified based on what they saw from war. And it's just the Civil War is going to take 4 years, not a couple of months. Okay? Civil War camps. All right. Tents you could take down, put on your back, travel to the next site. Remember, the North could travel by railroad, the South really couldn't. So the South had to do a lot of walking. These are actual pictures. I know it's blurry. All right. But these are 1860, 61 pictures. This would be a replica of what this would probably be for an officer of what a Civil War camp would look like. All right. You had your tent, a little desk quick, maybe a little box for belongings, a chair, a table, cot, and a blanket. And this would be what you would stay in. Okay. A lot of times it was boring. All right. Don't think the Civil War was fighting every day. A lot of times you would sit and hang out and do a couple of drills, play some cards. All right. Listen to some music if your regiment had a violinist or maybe a guitarist or something. All right. Sing some songs. And then when called to battle, you would obviously go fight. But it wasn't 100% fighting all the time. Okay? These are pictures. All right. This is what a lot of them would eat. It's called hardtack. It's like a combination of high calorie doughy crackers slash bread, all right, that would be made for them. Not very appetizing. Okay. This would basically be a daily ration for each soldier over here. 12 ounces of pork, some bacon, a pound of salt beef, some bread, biscuits, a little bit of flour, make some cornmeal, some coffee, some soap, some molasses. This is what soldiers would eat. Okay. A regiment would be about 100 men, right? So this 100 men, the commanders would get this. All right. and they would siphon it off to all of their members to make sure they were trying to be fed. Guys, Civil War life was not easy. All right, trust me, it was not easy. Again, more pictures. All right, Civil War battlefield prisons, and that's what these are. Were even more atrocious. This is the prison camp at Andersonville, where the conditions were so bad after the war. The general in charge of the prison camp for the South is actually going to be put on trial and put in prison following the Civil War for all the harsh conditions. All right, the Northerners captured faced. Okay. That's a real picture from Andersonville. All right, a survivor, all right, who was captured afterwards. Oops, sorry. All right, who survived the war, survived the prison field. All right, but again, this is going to be mass casualties. All right, this is not an easy war. Every person who dies, every one of these people who get shot, is an American citizen. That's why the numbers are so high here, guys. Family versus family, father versus son, uncle versus nephew, brother versus brother, cousin versus cousin. You pick the side and you fought for that side. The South is fighting to protect their rights. The North is fighting to protect the United States. Okay, we'll get into the issue of slavery when we get into Section 3 with the Emancipation Proclamation. So again, just some pictures of Civil War life. All right, so you see what we're talking about, a couple of the battles. All right. Again, the maps have to know the advantages and disadvantages. I got to know those, and then the map of the border states. All right. And unfortunately, President Lincoln has unbelievably huge fathom of responsibility during his time as president, and which is why he's considered one of the greatest, if not the greatest. All right, guys. So we'll pick up more into the Civil War tomorrow. All right, strategies, tactics, what each side was looking for, etc. But I'm going to post again this worksheet. You can fill in the answers on your own, the answers, and then this will be your homework that you can submit to me, and there'll be a due date on it. All right, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.